It's not always that way. Some of these guys are amazing, phenomenal fighters. And the one that we're inducting right now to begin with is Huntsville's Brad Ginn. Everybody give it up for Brad. Now, come on up, Brad. I always call him Brad again because he wins an award every year. He was our Master Boxer of the Year in the yearly awards 3 years in a row. And he's won 19 in a row since becoming a Master Boxer, which is a league for older boxers who maintain a love of competition. And the thing about Brad is, he's the first guy who made us alter the rules of the Hall of Fame, because in the program booklet that you have on the second page, or third page, it has how they got in the Hall of Fame. Well, you'll see it says you have to be retired at least 5 years before you're eligible for the Hall of Fame, if you're a fighter. Well, Brad was never going to quit, so we figured he may be another 50 years before we get to induct him. He's done so much, but let's get him in. We changed the rule to include master boxers, and so here he is, the Amateur Award Hall of Famer. The first one inducted right now is Brad Ginn.
That's my dad. Yeah.
Wow. And by the way, thank you for altering the rules. I mean, this honestly is the most moving, impactful moment of my life, and I'm really, it's just a humbling feeling, especially when you consider the class that Robert just alluded to. Just fantastic people, but to be inducted into the Alabama Boxing Hall of Fame as an amateur boxer is just, to be recognized for a journey that lasts 2 chapters. I started boxing back in the early 2000s, and I would go on to maybe some of you have heard of WL and Patsy Kennedy. They were recently inducted a couple of years ago, but I really wanted to box from a teenager perspective, and when I got an opportunity to finally actually box, I was about 25 years old, so it didn't happen right away for me. But nonetheless, I was pointed in the direction by the Kennedys to Kurt McCune out of Champions Boxing in Birmingham. Now, of course, I live in Huntsville, so that's about 95 miles away from me. We didn't really have anything in Huntsville in the early 2000s, so that's where I went. And so I would drive literally almost 200 miles a day, 3 days a week, for about 3.5 years to learn the fundamentals of boxing. And fortunately, we would have some success. After about 6 months being held back before any competition, I would fight in my first Golden Gloves. And this was in 2004. And in 2004, everything changed for me. I fought in my first Golden Gloves and won. I would then compete in the world's largest amateur boxing contest, which was the Ringside World Championships in Kansas City, and would make the semifinals, which I thought was pretty good. The guy that won it would go on to the Olympic team, David Carey. But that year I would meet also the love of my life, and that would be my eventual wife, Sheree, who's here tonight. But so that year, and looking back, was life-changing. But we would go on and we would win a few more titles in '05. In fact, my man right here, Amp Webster, we fought 20 years ago in the Golden Gloves. Love you, Amp. And it's amazing the brotherhood we've got, by the way, just with all of the fighters, Frank, all these people here. It's just incredible. But then we'd go on, and I would be faced with the challenge in my employment that I needed to start a real estate management company that I didn't really have much experience, but it was time for me to get out of the nest. My best friend's father's company was ready for me to get out of the nest. And so as a result, I needed to make a choice, and so it was to start a company. And but I had one more fight, and it was going to be the '06 Golden Gloves. And I would match up against a kid from Tuscaloosa who just knocked out one of our better heavyweights the night before to make it to the finals to fight me. or box me, however you want to phrase it. But this wasn't a boxing contest. We got into a war. Within the first 20 seconds of this bout in the first round, I was literally out on my feet. Got hit with a 3-punch combination and a right hand, and next thing I know, I've got somebody in my face with fingers just waving at me. I don't know what's happening, but apparently I'm getting a standing 8 count. And I realize I'm in a boxing ring. Well, I gather myself. We end up having 5 standing 8 counts. And if any of you all know what that means, it's basically where the referee's got to check, make sure you're okay before we go. So there's a little bit of head trauma going on in there. But nonetheless, I'd squeak out a win over this young man. And that was going to end up being it for me to go back and start my company. When I got out of the ring, I told that young man, I said, you are going to go far with that sledgehammer right hand you got. And he did. He went real far. That guy ended up going on to, I think it was Beijing, and being the only one on the team to medal, if I'm not mistaken, but he medaled. And then he would go on into the pros, and he'd become heavyweight champion of the world. And I was like, wow, how about that? Well, it was still time. At that time, I didn't know that. So I went back to the grindstone. Many years later, 15, 16 years later, I'm in my 40s, and I'm overweight, need some direction, and I found Masters Boxing. And Masters Boxing is for 40 and up. And I was able to find a tournament that I could compete in. And so I fought in Christy Martin's Open Invitational in North Carolina. I'd advance to the finals, and I'd win with a second round knockout. And that was it. The fire was lit. So I decided I was going to do everything in my power to repeat this performance again and again and again. And so through sobriety, eating right, consistency, discipline, those are the cornerstones and really the secret sauce. That's it. And life responded. But the second chapter has been probably just as fulfilling as the first, maybe even more. I've been fortunate to train with Alan, also really known as Snoop Martin of Rocket City Boxing in Huntsville. And Snoop is actually right there sitting at my table. I love you, man. He's more than a coach, he's family to me. For all the fight camps we endure, the unwavering belief and the support these past 5 years have been unbelievable. And I appreciate you. And my best friend, Terrell, who's out in the back table over there, my brother, we started this journey over 30 years ago, and you've had my back every step of the way. Even dating back to the Nashville, which I didn't mention. By the way, I went 8-0 in Nashville in the mid-90s, set the knockout record in the Music City Mix Factory of 3 seconds. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying. But your loyalty to me means everything. Thank you, brother. And to Manny Fernandez, also known as the godfather and founder of Masters Boxing, thank you for creating a space for us older fighters to shine. There you go. And Manny, you've changed not just lives for these older fighters and giving them direction, but including mine. And Manny right now is going through some stuff, and I'll just say that I'm praying for you, brother, and I appreciate you and love you. And a huge thank you to JD's and the Alabama Boxing Hall of Fame Board of Directors for this great honor. It means more than I can possibly describe. But I'll say this, since making my return, I've captured multiple Masters championships, recently taking gold at the 2025 Nationals in Las Vegas just a few short weeks ago. I've extended my record in Masters now to 19-0. But also during that period, this boxing, focus, discipline, consistency got me to triple the growth in my real estate company that I left to retire boxing to go work on. and ultimately ended up selling it a couple years ago. And I work in that company still today, and my wonderful boss is sitting right there too. Michael, shout out to you. I love you for your support. And but more importantly, I rediscovered my purpose. Right? I became a stronger father, a more devoted husband, and just a better person. And so this induction isn't just about my accomplishments. It's proof you can always turn things around. It's never too late. You're not too old. I'm 50. Tomorrow, just ask yourself, is it one day or is it day one? Right? But thank you to every coach, friend, family member, sparring partner, and mentor who helped me along the way. And to those of you that traveled tonight, especially over at that table, from the folks that we worked at the World Police and Fire Games and brought home 2 silver medals in boxing, to just my lovely wife, my daughter Jewel, who just recently got engaged yesterday. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Snoop, Michael, Kevin, Jerry, where's Greg? Greg drove his 67 Camaro all the way from Chicago, boxing coach for Notre Dame, all the way here to be here. And my best friend Taylor and his family, and if I missed anybody else, I'm terribly sorry. I'm really blown away, and this is the greatest moment of my life, except for my wife. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
Brad Ginn.
Yeah!
Hey, do you guys like this building? Is this awesome or what?